All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back tonight. We're playing more Swords of the Serpentine. And before we get to that, Long, give us your detailed review, scene by scene, beat by beat of Tusk by Kevin Smith. Go right ahead. Floor is yours.
Well, that's a lot to think on. So I did watch it, and I ended up enjoying it. The reveal, the monstrosity that it became, characters that were coming into play, they're all great. I ended up really liking it.
Excellent. Are you going to go and watch Yoga Hosers now?
Don't know what that one is, but if you say recommend it to me.
That's good. That's good. I don't know if I'd recommend that
wrong
one.
Word.
I don't know if I believe that tone of voice.
I don't know if I'd recommend that one.
If it's on and you're there, you don't have to change the channel.
Long, don't you already have like another movie from another stream that you needed to watch? Like Tusk was the first one, and then there was like another one.
Do you know what it is? I don't remember.
I just remember. I remember making the comment like, "Well, we're adding to Long's to-do list for next week. We're like planning the week for him." And now I don't remember what the other movie was.
Trying to remember what stream that would have been. It had it been what? Call of Cthulhu?
Call of Cthulhu. Yeah.
What did we make him do in Call of Cthulhu? I don't remember.
Well, I don't know. No, I'm gonna have to try to think on it.
What were we talking about?
I feel like there's another movie out there.
Call of Cthulhu. I'm trying to remember what that. I don't know. Long, you're like, we'll have to go back and listen to see if we mention it on stream. But Long's, what are we going to have Long watch for next week so we can continue to get? We're just going to make this a new feature at the start of every Thursday show. Just a quick Long's quick thoughts, long thoughts on short movies. There's a name in there. We can play with his name.
Oh my!
I think Long's quick thoughts is like I think that's
Long's
a good.
Quick thoughts. Okay, all right.
I typed in fish called Wanda.
That's a really good one.
I think Dogma.
It's Dogma. Kevin Smith, that works, and it's back. Yeah, it's timing. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's the. Is it 25th? Is it 25th anniversary? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 25th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any movie that's got a Golgotha shit demon in it is a movie that you have to see.
George Carlin is just so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I did not expect to see Alanis Morissette show up in the role in which she showed up, but yet there she was. Yeah. Who would have thought?
There she was.
Not me, but yeah, there it was.
Isn't that ironic?
Sure. Don't you think?
Oh,
you're sorry. I couldn't have. I had to poke the bear. I know.
But the really funny thing is Alanis Morissette still currently active on Great North.
Really?
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette appears as herself as a star-bound individual that the teenage daughter talks to out her window.
She's the teenage daughter's inner voice, but it's projected as like an Alanis Morissette in like a star constellation that she's talking to. But it is Alanis Morissette. So.
I kind of love that.
That's kind of great.
Yeah. I know, it's super funny. Yeah, it's a funny show. Yeah. Okay. Well, now that Jeremy ruined it by making me think
it's what I do.
That song and just years of trying to explain what irony means to students. How that's not it. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Okay, so last time around, it was episode 2, this final arc of ours. You all gathered at your estate after the attack at the Opera House. You started kind of trying to piece some things together. So Vincent, you quickly determined that Theobald, who had stabbed Fortuna, was not possessed by a ghost, but had been the victim of some kind of mind manipulation, some kind of puppeteering. When he woke, he was horrified at what he'd done, and he was very compliant and did everything you all said, answered any questions that you all asked him, that sort of thing. Solavita, you sent Dionisio, your husband, off with Valentina, Chauncey's wife, took your kids, took Chauncey's 2 teenage daughters, went and tracked down your other kids who may or may not be in jail, trying to keep them out of the way and safe and all that kind of good stuff. Then Solavita and Vincent headed back to the Opera House and wanted to see what they could learn. At that point, Vincent, you discovered that Ludovica Tanucci, who is the opera singer, but also the head of the Last College Sorcerer's Cabal, was one of the victims. And Solavita, you spoke with an urchin boy who saw the attackers on the Opera House kind of gathering beneath a nearby bridge. So the two of you started to investigate that area. Vincent, you tapped into your prophecy skill, which gave you a vision. attackers with all these like corruptive looking marks on them were performing some kind of ritual. They were like taking the blood from a freshly sacrificed snake and kind of rubbing it on them and uttering some prayers. Next, the two of you went to the watch house that was holding Ludovica's body. And when you inspected it, it became very clear that it was actually just a wax simulacrum, one of her copies of herself. Chauncey and Fortuna, you spoke with Orsyth at one point. You also interviewed some of your servants. Orsyth gave you some backstory a bit about the family when they first made the pact. He also talked about how every single thing that you all have ever done since then, branching out into new families, new economic or commercial interests, different charitable projects or artistic projects, all of that has somehow filtered back to her and made her stronger and stronger. Everything born of the family basically fed her in one way or another. And she also, just like any other creature of her kind, took her strength from worshippers. And he mentioned it wasn't just the Mainwallans, but the Chugat and other cults. So Orsyth also gave you kind of an indication of where your pact was initially bound, like where you all were, which is like in some sort of grimy swamp in the shadows of the destroyed plateau. You talked to your new head housekeeper, Lionella, who showed you that there was black mold growing all over the grounds, how there's like a bunch of flower bushes and vegetation that had been dying. And then the two of you went and visited Foxkeeper Gustavo, who had removed the foxes from the grounds and brought them to his own home over health concerns because a few of the older foxes had perished after a couple corrupted batches of food. He also, after some prodding, some pushing, revealed something he was hiding, which was a recent pup birth that showed not a fox, but basically one of those scaly snake-like creatures that almost looked like a hydra head that you had seen a few times now over the decades. Solavita, you reconvened with Fortuna and Chauncey, and you did some research and some interrogation of Theobald and such. You eventually came up with the fact that there was like another covenant, like some kind of cult that was probably worshiping Borda over the time. Vincent, you paid a visit to the last college, and you met with Ludovica, who was recuperating, despite the fact that that was not her body. She did not expect it. She was in like terrible condition. She swore that she was not involved with the attack. She also cited the fact that she made a pledge to you when you joined the last college that she wouldn't attack your family so long as you were a member, and she has maintained that. And she also said that the ritual that she had promised to enact for the Saltbound, who attacked you all 20 years ago, could possibly work for you all if you're trying to sever yourselves from Borda itself. But it is a ritual that has to take place where the pact was made. That's why they were eventually going to leave. And she would only teach it to you, Vincent, if you agreed to give her something that was valuable, something that would hurt your family, something that would hurt yourself, something of value to you. Like if it was given away or if it was taken away from you, it was something of substance, something of value. And so that was last ep. So let's pick up then. I'll give you guys we could just pick up if you want to do a beat back at the estate. If you guys had more plans, do we want to say a day has passed? We want to do that. And we say we pick up in the morning, we reconvene. You guys get a night of basic rest. So if any of you need to get some small healing, you can go ahead and do so. I remember that general recovery of health is 2 points. So you can get 2 points from a day, 2 points for morale as well. So if any of you need some general recovery, you can get two of each. All right.
Yeah, I am. My morale is less than half.
Okay. So we'll pick up back at the estate. And Vincent, I'm going to start with you. Have you come up? You had 10 minutes since I last asked you this. Have you come up with something that you're going to offer Ludovica, something you're going to pay?
I have. It's the ultimate form of myself, which is my true name. I'd offer that to her.
Okay. I think that is okay. I think that is something she would definitely take, because that would mean she would have utter power over you probably for the rest of your life. There's essentially no way that she could do, not that she would do that. Okay. So what I need you to do then, if you're going to want to be taught the ritual, you need to make a spend. A Sorcerer's Cabal spend would be totally fine if you have that as alliance. And we now know. That. Okay, you spend it. So then what we'll say is, as you return to the estate to share some stuff with your family members, like you now know the ritual. I'll say like in the intervening hours that night, she taught you, or she like walked you through, or gave you like the scrolls and such that would be needed to follow in order to enact this ritual at whatever site in which your original pact was made. So you're familiar with it, Vincent. You have been taught. So what are you telling everybody at this point, Vincent?
I've learned of a ritual. We enact this at the site that we signed with Borda. Possibly sever ties with her.
That was quick work that you were all ready to obtain that.
It seems quite prudent that you were, able to do that. It's exactly what we need, essentially.
Do you have everything you need to enact the ritual? Does it require specific ingredients or special talismans?
Or let's be honest, what's the sacrifice?
The sacrifice is probably ourselves. We're the ones enacting it on site. It's something we must pay.
Well, I've been willing to pay with blood and bones for the last 20 years. If that is what it takes, it's not a great sacrifice.
Well,
For the future of the family.
Tiny.
So, Levita, I think you and I perhaps should make sure that we look through all of our archives for maps or anything, because we need to make sure that we are doing the ritual at the exact place that this was done before. So I want to make sure that we are prepared to navigate ourselves exactly where we need to go.
Certainly. We got some information earlier. Let's see if I can get the details that we were presented with into some sort of map.
We have never, I don't think I've ever asked for this skill before.
Okay.
But do any of you have wilderness mastery?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
That was one of those warrior things that we were all like,
Yeah, we're in the city.
Yeah.
But can I trade you a forgotten lore for a wilderness mastery?
I will take that. Yes. Okay.
Okay. It's a spend, right?
Because I am out of forgotten lore at this time.
Okay. So we'll say the two of you study throughout the night. Morning comes. You probably had a very long night. Maybe you didn't get to sleep until very, very late. Between the information that you got from Orsyth, as he narrated some of the family and where they were and like kind of what they called it, the grasping mire is sort of what he referred to it as. Like, you don't necessarily have the exact locale down to a T, but you would learn that at one point there was a settlement that lived within this swamp generations ago, long since have moved out of the area because of the dangers that you got and just the rising of Eversink. There's a better place to live now. But there were these small swamp villages of humans, and specifically around this area, but they have died out over the years. But you have a general idea of where that might be. So yeah, I would say you have a decent idea of where you could go. It does mean traveling upriver, and it also means potentially traveling across the swamp for a little bit on foot. You have a little bit of a journey.
Oh, okay. Well, I do believe, Solavita, I think we've put our heads together, and I think we know directions of where we need to go, and I am, going to need to see if I can manipulate the swamp as we get there. We're going to need to walk through the swamp.
Oh,
Not part of this.
Yes, it's. I forget that you can do magic now too. It'll be good. I hope it doesn't come back to bite us, because she can sense where your magic is, which is her magic is at the point of location. We might want to avoid that, but otherwise, agree with you. Yes.
Well, you can't keep all of the magics to yourself, you know.
Well, no, I share with Vincent.
Well, yes, the two of you have come.
You know, it's hard for an old dog to learn new tricks, you know?
I will forget. I will pretend that I didn't hear you say that.
I will make it up for you. I will make Natalie come for
It's
a
only-
tea like next weekend. With
It's
you.
just that when you do it, it will draw so much attention because you're a lady of such power that Border can't ignore you.
Oh, look, the diplomat is here.
The family peacemaker. Like, ladies.
Here.
Okay. If you would like to try to secure,
Katie.
Aaron, you are muted if you're trying to
Oh.
talk to us. I've just been watching him like move around in the corner.
Yeah, I
for
saw
the last-
this.
Okay.
Yes, I was muted. Unfortunately, my mouth was shut by my disgust over this crazed family banter, as always. Decade. I thought perhaps never again will I have to hear such asinine things, but no. It's so good to see all of you again. Love you all.
You
Welcome
missed
back,
that.
Arkadiy. We have missed you so.
All right.
Perhaps now though that you're a matriarch, dear Fortuna, maybe we can hire a guide? Swamp guide? You must have,
Oh,
some ability to do that.
absolutely.
That's a good point.
And your cousin, insert name here, is
Do you
absolutely a
Want to spend a nobility point?
heck yeah.
Okay. If you want to spend you can do this. You could certainly do that. I would also have accepted a mercenary point or even mercanti point. I would probably have taken, but I'll take nobility.
I'm pretty
okay.
flush with nobility. Arkadiy, you are both strong of fist and smart of mind. Good thinking.
Broken of back and slightly creaky knees now, but yeah, it's all good.
And what was
And-
that? You were just talking about the banter of the family, and then you come right on speaking.
One must join in with the banter
Oh,
or
yes,
be
of course.
suffocated or drowned by it.
I see.
Fortuna holds up her cane and she said, as you get up in years, we may need to get one of these with your name on it.
No, I'm fairly certain I'll die before that happens.
But
You're probably going to kill me on this trip. It's okay.
But if we don't, I make a promise to make you a walking stick with like a tiny little axe head at the top of it.
While you're talking, he takes out his branding iron. It heats up and he rebrands his forearm. You smell burning flesh and smoke comes off. He's like, yes, what was that, Chauncey?
For fuck's sake, okay, I don't even know. Oh, God.
It's nothing.
Would you like to
Okay.
fill us in on this new ritual of yours, cousin?
Oh, it's simple. In order to stop Death Curse from disgusting, foul, cold, sorceress bitch, I was forced to brand myself every day with these runes of heat and protection. It's nothing.
My God, sorcery is so the worst.
It is not. It's
yeah,
who
God,
uses it.
it's such the worst.
Obviously, I
Chauncey.
love all of those. Most of you have some association with it, but I feel there is a constant influx of evidence to tell me I should fear it.
Well, yes, you've had some sort of bad options. Arkadiy, Vincent, what do you think? If we can look at this arm of Arkadiy, maybe we can decipher a different, better, non-burning your flesh every day way of breaking this curse? No?
Dear Slovita, Vincent,
Okay.
it's all right. My family, the Ruska, we employ many powerful mages. And very puissant mages, and they said this death curse was quite powerful. She was the last surviving member of her family. I had already killed all of the rest of them, so when I killed her, it was the culmination of an entire family of sorcerers' death curses. It's quite ugly.
Ah, yes. Well, that is a little worse than I was thinking. Fair enough.
Yes, they bantered quite incessantly as well before I killed all of them.
Speaking of banter, are there any other preparations that we need to make before we head off on this journey?
Well,
So
do we want
need
just ourselves, or
do we want to
We'll
find a
need
good?
what? Ship to go up river, skiff across swamp,
Mhm.
supplies.
Fortuna, your nobility spend. since you said you knew somebody in the family, you would know a man by the name of Solano, who was father to Bellamira, who died during the escapades of your succession rite. She was the one who was found hanging in the church. But Captain Solano is an old, wiry, gray-bearded merchant captain. He has worked for the company, or worked for the family, I should say, in shipping here and there. You could certainly pull in a favor to get access to his ship, the Indomita. That could certainly travel upriver.
I'll absolutely do that. I imagine a courier comes back. Yes, arrangements have been made, and we have passage, and we have our guide. Is there anything else we need to bring with us?
I had an idea, but I don't think it would really go over well.
Share, and we will tell you if you are wrong.
Just to some extent. And I know this is probably going to go over like a big pile of bricks, but like a person of the church with us in case things go terribly bad.
The chances of us needing to murder them before we come back is pretty high.
Yes, let's face it. They're automatically going to find out that this family of madman Wetlands have been worshipping Borda for quite some time. I have a feeling, much like the former Inquisitors, I would probably have to kill the person during the voyage.
I know. I'm sorry. I really am very worried about how we're going to deal with things there.
Oh, we're going to die, but then it will be all right.
I appreciate your concern, Cousin Chauncey, but you have been availing yourself of the teachings of the church, and so if there is anything that we need in that direction, you will be the best we have.
I am slightly less of an asshole. That doesn't teach me how to deal with the dark arts.
I would tend to agree with Cousin Arkadiy that anyone additional that we bring on is not someone we want to bring behind the curtain, as it were.
Come on, Chauncey, I will help you find the rosary. You'll be the best we've got.
Arkadiy looks down at his wrist, shakes his head. You see his rosary is no longer attached to his wrist. It's long gone. He's like, yes. Most likely Morana will never claim my soul because of you bastards, but that is all right.
All right.
Only required the death of one ice mage, I'm pretty sure.
Are there any? Okay, so I'm more than happy to move this along, but are there any? Like you had already mentioned, is it just you? Did you want to try to bring people along with you? Did you want to try to like spend some points to call in some favors? And then what about other people? What about things like Randy? What about Dionisio? What about Valentina? Like, are any of these people coming along with you? No is a perfectly fine answer. I just wanted to give you that opportunity because once you leave on your little ship, you will not have that opportunity.
I would definitely want to go talk to Dionisio before leaving.
Okay.
Depending on what he says, I will leave coming or going up to him a little bit.
Okay. Well, we can have that conversation then. We'll say we open up that scene. You had tasked him with collecting your adult age children, yes. Natalie and Chauncey's older twins,
which are called
Carmine and Corrado.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so we can say we pick up at and I think he was taking him back to your place. So we'll say you and Fortuna did a late night study session in the archives, the main archives. And so sometime in the morning, as Fortuna is making arrangements to get this ship from Captain Solano, we'll say you make it back to your home. Everyone is accounted for. And you can have, and so we'll say, I don't know what your house, like how big is your house? Like what is your home like?
So as you kind of get to it's not like the richest part of the neighborhood, but the area is nice, a little suburban, if you will, for sort of the town. And house is 2 stories. It's got the clay ceiling, little windows that allow the breeze in when with glass, so we can close it when it's bad. But it's a well-maintained house. It's built by architects. Probably Dionisio and I will periodically just add to it.
Sure.
Because we can. So it's got a lot of like sort of new age art filigree on it. Just for fun.
And so we'll say you find him in the morning. He and Valentina are breaking their fast. Maybe the kids are still sleeping because many of them are teenagers, and that's what they do. But yeah, you find Valentina and Dionisio there, and he'll look up at you like, "Oh, what have you learned? Is there any news? Any news, Sol?"
Yes. Just beforehand, Chauncey, did you come with me? Because this is
probably because I definitely want to see the family. Like, I can think of one other thing I would do while we're doing, but I would definitely 100% see the family before.
Because Valentina's here, I figured, and your daughters and your sons now. Okay, Dio, it's okay. So, do you remember I told you about the weird salt pirates that attacked us, etc.?
Yes, of course. Are they the ones who are responsible? And
no, not exactly. But we're going to have to go back to that area, we think, because we think around there is where our family originally made the weird. Hi, Valentina. Good morning. Made the weird blood pact with Borda, which Valentina, you know all of this stuff, right? Oh, do you need more wine?
She's drinking wine for breakfast. Yeah, she's got morning wine for sure.
Let's get you a second bottle. I think you're going to need it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to go back there to somewhere called the Grasping Mire. And we're going to do a ritual that might sever our family's blood ties to Borda. And she'll, like, at this point, take both of Dionysio's hand. I don't know if we'll come back. I think this is going to be one of the dumbest things our family has done. And we've done a lot of really dumb shit I've told you about.
Valentina just like, yes, that is true. Off in the corner.
But for our future, for Natal, we have to do what we have to do. Make sure to keep her safe, and I want to keep you safe. But you are my partner, so I have to offer you, if you would like to come with us, I would like you to stay home. I would like you and Natal to live, but I will give you this. As you are my heart, we are in partners in decisions.
So he's like you've prepared him over the years. You said you've shared a lot of the secrets, so none of this is coming to him probably as a great shock, and probably to some degree, I would imagine. This is something he's always imagined could potentially have happened, like this. So but the fact that it's here is probably what is surprising. You said you want him to stay, so you would want him to stay?
I would love for you to stay because I want you to live as a part of me. Like, you will always carry me in your heart in some way, I would hope.
Of course, Sola. But perhaps if I go with you, then there is a greater likelihood that you can return and that we could be a family.
Yes, and I will do everything in my power to come back to you as best as I can. But if the choice is between myself to cut ties with Borda to keep you and Natal safe, don't doubt that I won't do that.
Go ahead and roll like a sway test, maybe, since your intention is to keep him here. And so if you succeed at the sway test, then I think his intention he will do what you ask. And maybe if he fails, like, he gets a little stubborn.
And depending, is this... Oh, sorry.
Good. We're going to say, Jeremy.
I was gonna ask, is this a totally private conversation, just the two of you?
No,
or?
we are very much having this
Yeah.
conversation at the breakfast table in front of Valentina and you.
Yeah, Chauncey would very much interject. For what it's worth, I would interject as someone who had the unfortunate situation to grow up without any parents. I'd like to say that I feel relatively happy as I am now, but I spent a great amount of my youth very angry at the world, thinking that the world owed me, that I had lost something, that I was unwanted, and it was a rather miserable lot. And that's not something that's fair to put on you, but even one parent would have made me feel so much more fulfilled, and I feel like I was a rather bit of a piece of shit for a long time.
Yeah, well, that hasn't really stopped. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm yammering. I'm sure my children will tell you I do a lot.
So do you want? Are you wanting to roll the sway test instead? Or are you trying to like take the?
I just wanted to like if me joining in could help assist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like either one of you can roll it. Is fine with me. I don't think Valentina's going. Like I don't think unless you particularly asked her to, she would most certainly.
This is something like Valentina and Chauncey have talked about this for sure.
Okay.
I do not have sway. I rolled it straight just as a D6, but I would be very happy for Chauncey, who is our social character, to do it, honestly.
Okay, so if you fail, then we can say that Dionisio is like putting his foot down and he's just saying, no, I will, no, absolutely not. There is a chance that that my presence on this quest of yours could make sure that Natal has both of her parents, then it is a chance that we should take. And so he is just like taking this stance that he's not going to leave, which means, Chauncey, I'm going to increase the difficulty if you wanted to try to talk him back down. Okay.
Of course you do, because you're a good man and you're a good husband and you're a good father and you want good things for the people that you love. But sometimes the world is just shit. And you compromise and you let yourself be half happy because being miserable with nothing is worse. And do you want your children to be miserable? And that's a mean thing for me to say. And I don't want to be mean to you because you're such a lovely man.
Keep me that roll. Give me that sway.
I will. And I will. Yeah. There we go. Put a few points into that.
Okay.
7?
He will
nice.
Like he will look like he is going to argue with you. He will look towards Sola, and then you'll hear the voices of like everyone down the hall, as if all your children are starting to wake, and you can hear the sounds of them like kind of yelling and screaming at each other, like in the way that teenagers do, you know. And then he finally like slouches. You see him give up. You physically see him give up and agree. And he says, so be it. I think perhaps we should go break this news to Natal.
Yes, I appreciate this, and I do love you so much. And she'll like lean in and sort of give him a kiss, and then like lean back, hold his hand.
He won't let you lean back. He'll like grab you before you do, and like hold you really tight. And then like
she'll hug into him.
As you let go and you hold his hand, the two of you maybe go down the hall to see Natal.
Also, if we do survive, I promise Natal that, I promise Fortuna that Natal would do breakfast with her again next weekend. You can break that one as well.
Well, I think Fortuna would quite love that. I don't know if Natal would. And then that's like the last thing we hear is the two of you like move out of earshot, leaving Chauncey and Valentina at the breakfast table here. Valentina gets up, and Valentina is 2 bottles into morning wine, and she gets up and she looks at you, and she has a very like ugly look on her face. Like she's just, you, Chauncey? I have known you for 20 years. You are a fraud, Chauncey. And then she slaps you across the face. You give this big speech to Dionisio about being a father, and yet you would go on this trip, and you would orphan our own children. And then she turns to walk away, like putting her back to you.
Because you're the best of us. You know you better than me. You knew what fraud I was long before this. You tolerated me, and for whatever reason, you chose to see what you thought was good in me, and you fostered it, and you helped me be maybe not a good man.
Chauncey, the only one here who doesn't think that you could be more is yourself. 20 years ago, your attitude, your careless, carefree, it was very endearing. You are a grown man with 4 children. It is not endearing any longer. It is sad.
Okay, well, if you want me to stop acting sad, here's the truth of it. I refuse for our daughters and their lovely little cousin to be forced to sit at a table and God knows what against each other. Could you imagine our twin girls against each other and their brothers torn up amongst it? No!
What?
I can't.
I am not saying that this adventure is not necessary. I'm saying your presence on it is unnecessary. What are you going to do? Talk this demon god down? Convince her that you should just go your separate ways? You have a golden tongue, Chauncey, but it's not that golden.
Or maybe I'll be the person who's there who's not willing to acquiesce. Maybe they need somebody who legitimately realizes this is all terrible. And I'm going to go talk to Philippe's uncle a little bit. I'm going to see if he's willing to share a charm with me or something. I don't know.
Oh,
but just...
Yes.
Yes, I realize it's ridiculous, but like maybe you just need to not be willing to... Maybe that's how people or things like that fester, is because people decide it's easier to just stop trying, and I don't want to stop trying.
If you think this is what you need to do, then you go ahead and do it. And I will do the same.
I love you.
Go. If only that were so. And you see, like at this point, she just starts to walk out of the room, and she stops for a second, grabs the wine bottle, and kind of continues away from you, leaving you at the dining table by yourself. Okay. So, as we cut from the wonderful home of Solavita and Dionisio, Fortuna or Vincent or Arkadiy's back. Any of the three of you were looking to make any scenes or spends or something like that to try to like prep, or any last? No is an acceptable answer. I just want to make sure you have the opportunity.
I think Arkadiy would go by and see Helene real quick.
You would find her. Last we saw, it's been a long time since we've seen her, but we've been at that Corvid Fight Club. Is she in charge? We think she's in charge of that now.
She's definitely in charge by now.
You're there early in the morning, which is basically late at night. And so the day's fights are still continuing. Like the books are being counted, the drunks are being rounded up as we see you work your way back. You see some familiar faces who are surprised to see you, thinking that they might never see you again, like an old bouncer at the door or a bartender who kind of gives you a surprised nod. And we find Helene aged up about 15 years, I think it's been since you probably last saw her, but as sharp and deadly and beautiful as ever. And she is sitting in all of her state. Maybe her hair is like cut shorter and like professional now, and like you can tell she's almost dressed up in like an attire to suggest someone of a business stature. And she is in that very seat that you used to sit in back when you ran this. And she looks at you. Well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Well, my beautiful Helene. He bends over and kisses the back of her hand. I came because when I last left, we had a bet. And unfortunately, when I left for Luzrek and I said I would never return to this festering swamp, you laughed in my face and said that they would never let me go. And I bet you a silver piece that he flips to her right now.
Just snatches it. Snatches out of the air and like starts twirling it in her fingers, like without even missing a beat. Just grabs it and begins to twirl. And she got a big grin on her face.
Without a doubt, they're going to kill me this time. So I just wanted to come by and tell you that you are right. You are as beautiful as you always were, and I was foolish not to try to win your heart when I was a younger man.
Yes, you were a fool on so many fronts. And it's good that age has given you wisdom. But I believe it is too late on both counts.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. I am definitely going to be dead by next week. So, but I wanted you to know that you were right about everything, as always.
Well, the only one of us that didn't already know that was you. So, in truth, yes, I've always known
Quite
this.
the fool I am.
Well, what do they have you doing now?
Oh, they want me to go kill a demon goddess somewhere in the swamp. It will be heroic and horrible and quite stupid. But yeah, it's... What else am I going to do, right?
I suppose. Or you could finally cut ties and stop going back to them.
If I only could. Unfortunately, I find out that this demon bitch goddess has her claws in my family too, and will eventually take the Ruskas out as well. So, must sell my heart and soul one last time for this.
Well, I am sure that somehow, like a cockroach, you will find your way out of trouble once more. Do you have any thieves' guild points left?
No. It's been gone for so long.
Let me see what you could potentially spend here. Katie, do you want to make a spend of ancient? You could do nobility. You have points in nobility. You could do that.
Yep.
I'll take that.
All right.
So you can see she gets up and she moves over to like a section on the wall, and there's a cabinet there. And as she reaches to grab the cabinet, it looks like she's going to swing the door open, but instead just swings the entire cabinet. And behind it, you can see there's this hidden safe. And she'll start spinning the wheel on it, and then she'll pull it open, and she'll reach inside and she'll grab something that is wrapped up in cloth. And she will place it down on the desk after kind of sliding a couple papers away. And she will say, I had this made for you years ago. I was going to give it to you when you abruptly decided to leave. I thought many times about just melting it down or selling it, but it was not an easy item to piece together. I had to call in many a favor. And so she starts to like unwrap it a bit. And what you see is this shimmering blade. And it's not just the light, but you can tell that there's something about like the iridescence that's more that's abnormal, unnatural in some ways. You can see like the hilt, strangely enough, is shaped like a winding body of a snake, and the guard has what looks like a fox on it. You can tell like she was intending to make something that looks like your family, but at the same time, you can see like decorating the handle itself, or whatever the Ruska sort of variation is. You can start to see that she has taken that into account. And so like all of your family's like history is essentially emblazoned on it. And she slides it over to you. For old time's sake, and perhaps to help you find your way out of whatever pit your family throws you in once more. Or, if you're truly smart, use it now to finally cut ties, and we can go back to making profit.
Ah, dear sweet Lynne, you are always far too good for me. If I manage to survive this, I will come back and be your slave for the rest of our days.
Consider that a contract. And so
He bows over her hand one last time and gives it a kiss, takes up the blade, walks out. Ciao, Bella.
okay, I'm going to drag something onto your sheet. You can see it. That's the Vulpentis blade. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. It's just a sort of a nice, it's slightly beefed up one-hand weapon, so it wouldn't necessarily interfere with your C-axes if you're still using those. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Very cool.
Vincent, do you have any tasks or things that you're looking to do before your family gets on a boat and rows into hell?
Yeah, I've got a simple thing. It's where
Okay.
I'm going to set up a forgotten tomb in our manor of
Okay.
what's happening and what's going on. And if someone finds it, they'd understand what went down.
I think that's wonderful. When you say a forgotten tomb, are you looking to like dig into those undervaults? Because those undervaults are accessible, but like they've been obviously closed off. No one really goes down there. There's hideous things. But do you kind of go down there to that old room with the faces, the prison cells and things? Those still exist. Some of them are probably flooded to a degree, but definitely accessible if you want them to be. Or is there somewhere else?
I'd wander down those halls, just to remember what we went through those years ago.
Okay. And as you're wandering down these halls, like you can see the old mosaic with a ship, like literally the ship that you saw at one point, that as it was stripped away, you saw like the old pirate Falcone ship as well. Like that was part mercanti, part pirate ship. You see like the old, like the shrine that was made to essentially mock Denari, but is in fact meant to elevate Borda. You can see that as well. You can also see like once you get down to the levels where the cells are at, you can tell that they're half underwater, but you hear the sounds of whales still. Like you can hear the sounds of there's still ghosts lingering down here, the ghosts of those who were killed so long ago. And so this is not a very safe place per se. But you can certainly like find a location down here to kind of create some sort of you said tomb, but some sort of tomb in which might contain like a record or a history of your efforts. You want to give me like a nobility spend, maybe?
I certainly can.
Yeah, let's do nobility. So what do you think it looks like? Like, what do you think in the short time you have left, like, obviously you could tap into sorcery to accelerate this, but like, what do you think like the mark you're leaving on these undervaults looks like?
Let's see. So it's going to be very hollow feeling. It's going to be empty. It looks fuzzy. It doesn't really manifest unless you're paying attention, sensing it out. That things come into focus, come more materialized. So it's very spirit themed.
Okay. All right. So we see like Vincent pulling on his chains, pulling on like ripping open like Orsites, because you have Orsites Grimoire, which has all sorts of information as well about like metals and stone and how to like reshape things. And so we just sort of pan out or like, back out of there as like Vincent is kind of creating this memorial in some ways to like what you all are attempting to accomplish and tracking things. What about you have like you spent time getting everyone's true names. Was there more that Vincent was planning for that, or is that something you're kind of still holding that card close to your chest for something later?
I guess I could etch them here, but I don't know. Yeah, I could do that actually. Just have our true names resting here.
So, because what you essentially could do is create like a vault in case you all were to perish. There are funerary statues made for the people who are going on this, that their spirits are secure if they were to in fact pass. It's essentially what you could do.
That sounds pretty cool.
All right.
Very cool.
So we just see like the
Yeah,
stone
that's
and
very
steel of Orsyth meanwhile in creating these statues, these figures. Solavita would probably be proud. And then you hide somewhere in the statues, because that's kind of the tradition, is that somewhere on these statues you hide the true name. It's like built into a fold or a carving or this and that. And so each of those you kind of lock in. Okay. Awesome. Fortuna, did you have any other business that you wanted to attend to in Eversink?
Yes, I've got two little things that I wanted to do. The first would be checking in on kind of the convalescence of Pelletier.
Okay. He's an 80-year-old man who just took a fall. So he is not doing great, but he's not on death's door by any stretch. But if you check on him, he'll be like, is that you, Solavita? It's very kind of you to visit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Fortuna, I beg your pardon.
No, that's fine. I'm here on behalf of Solavita and the rest of them.
Is everyone okay? Was anyone harmed? Are the children safe?
Yes. The children are very safe. I'm so very sorry that your birthday celebration was so rudely and gravely interrupted.
Are you kidding? It was very exciting. It's terrible. From what I heard from some of the servants, many people perished. But it is one delightful story that I will certainly tell next year on my 81st birthday.
I have every confidence that story will be heard many, many days between now and your next birthday.
Indeed, indubitably. Is there something I can do for you? Is there something you need?
I wanted to let you know that you will rest here and get your strength back, but the rest of us need to take a bit of a trip, so you will not see us for a bit.
Oh, well, where is it you are heading off to?
Well, we have things that we need to address that we hope will ensure the safety of our family for generations to come. So don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Do you need my help on this voyage of yours? I am more than capable. In my day, I was quite the seaman. In fact, yes.
I've also heard those stories many times over the years, and
yes.
We will be utilizing our cousins who will hold everything in your stead. You need to focus on your recovery.
I see. Oh, well, the pirate King Falcone was, honestly, as a boy, he was an idol of mine, of course. So if you need anyone who knows their way around a rigging line, I am your sailor.
And Fortuna doesn't really smile very often, but the ludicrousness of this 80-year-old in bed.
Yeah.
It just, you actually see her sort of like crack a little bit of a grin at that.
Goes to get up and he's like,
oh no, Cousin Pelletier, I am not one for, Solavita has told me many times over the years that I could do with some compliments, I believe she calls them, coming towards members of the family. And I suppose times such as these, I should pass along my utmost appreciation for the decades of service that you have provided to our family. Your ways were unique, but our family could not have done the things without all of your assistance and organization and notes and all of that was the goal.
I do everything I do for the benefit of the family and not for accolades or recognition. But thank you, Fortuna. You have a very different managerial style than Eliana and Alphavera in her short attempted coup. Yours brings a breath of fresh air, I must say. Now, while you are gone, I will ensure that our family's business arrangements will remain taken care of. You can count on me. I am on duty.
Well, I do love you, dear cousin, and I'm sure I will see you again.
Of course. And you can see like he's like getting a little choked up because you've never said such nice things. Like, of course. Oh, dear Fortuna. You flatter me. And I love you as well. And kind of reaches out and kind of pats your hand. It's this really nice, sweet moment for this crazy old man that you all were going to kill once.
And Fortuna's like, she's not so much the physical contact.
It's still might.
I was going to say, we still might.
And Fortuna just sort of pats him. Okay. And then, if it's okay, I wanted to find Theobald.
Okay, yeah. I mean, are we assuming that you kept him under guard? Like, you have house guards. Like, would you have kept him under guard? Like, he did attack you, although Vincent is fairly confident that he was kind of controlled, manipulated into doing so. Like, would you have kept him under watch?
I would say he may be in a room, but definitely kind of a guard posted at his door and would escort him around. You know, he has the ability to move a bit, but only chaperoned.
Okay. So you check in on him and he sees you and he's, oh, Miss Fortuna, is there any news? Is there anything new to report? Is there anything I can help you with? He's like, you can see he's like literally bowing and sort of for this mode of, please forgive me.
And Fortuna's feeling a little generous at the moment. And so she sort of looks and says, well, you don't have a knife in your hand, so we are a step up from our last encounter.
No. Of course. And not as Mr. Vincent said, it was not me. It was whatever that creature is that... what is it I can do? What can I do? Anything at all.
Well, Pelletier is recovering still,
yes.
But I am going to need to depart for a bit so that we can attempt to take care of this nasty business once and for all.
I see.
But you are to be his eyes and ears if we do not return.
Of course. Anything you say. Yes, of course. I will ensure that Mr. Pelletier, he will have everything he needs. I will absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for trusting me. Thank you.
That is to be determined, but your services are invaluable.
Of course. Thank you, Matriarch. Thank you.
Nothing sharp with this one, she sort of says to the guard as she...
Guard's looking at... Yeah, okay. No problem.
Okay. So she'll go and wait for everyone else in the family to...
Chauncey, was there one more thing I think you wanted to do?
So I hate to say it, I actually have a couple of ideas, but I could potentially proxy some of it through Randy, possibly.
Okay,
I think,
sure.
Like, Chauncey really wants to like directly have a one-on-one with like a contact with the church, likely through the Canuccio family. But he also might like to reach out through Randy, because it feels like we've got a ship through noble means, and that's good and all. But like going through the swamp seems more like the shit work that commoners would do. And I have a temptation to use a commoner's spend to try and find somebody who actually has experience. Because I've also got the porter service and stuff like that. Like maybe through those contacts, I know somebody, or Randy knows somebody who actually has experience going through the swamps. Because somebody, yes, having a nobleman is great. He's probably a really good captain. But a captain on the seas versus somebody who knows the swamp could be a totally different ball game.
Okay, make the spend.
Okay.
I'll say like you ask maybe we don't have to play that scene, but maybe you talk with Randy. You ask him to kind of track someone down. You get word that he wants to see you at the legitimate bastard that he is now running.
Nice.
Okay, you go in and you can see that it's early in the morning, so similar to like where Arkadiy was, like it's not like it's more like cleaning up the ruckus. And there's really no one there actually drinking. It's just maybe there's people in the alleys that are being kind of woken up and pails of water thrown at them. And you can see that Randy, though, is at the bar and he's pouring drinks to this very broad-shouldered looking man, kind of pallid, kind of twitchy here and there. He's got like this burnt forearm and then on like his other arm is like just filled with tattoos. And when you come in, Randy's like, hey, Chauncey, how's it going? Hey, come on in. Hey, this is the guy I was telling you about. Okay, Chauncey, this is Chauncey, this is Relis. Good, and Relis, this is Chauncey. Relis, he used to watch you watch us really play eel ball.
Watch you. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's a team sport. Anyhow, and you see like Relis like spins around on the stool and looks at you and looks like probably looks older than he really is. Like you can tell like he's probably lived a hard life.
The mileage.
Oh yeah, mileage is totally on him. But he looks up at you and he just says, "Pleasure to meet you." And he puts out this big hand. How you doing? Relis Kite. And he shakes your hand. He's got like super calloused hands, like so like it feels like you're shaking the hand of wood.
Master Kate, my family has need to venture.
Relis is fun.
Relis, thank you. I'm grateful. I spent too much time with the other side of things, and it's starting to skew things for me. Thank you. We're going into the swamps. I've heard tell that you are men, and we've got a nice boat and I'm sure they have a lovely crew, but somebody who actually knows what they're doing in the swamps would be fantastic.
You know the name of the ship you're on?
I know it was mentioned
Indomita.
earlier,
The Indomita.
Yeah. The Indomita.
Okay, Captain Solano's ship. Yeah. Yeah. I know him. Of sorts. Not like best of friends or nothing, but my reputation. I think I did a spell with a group of mercenaries. Maybe 5 years ago, I think it was.
Okay.
I think the
Well, at least we
Indomita.
know each other.
Yeah, of sorts. Yeah, he's an all right captain. Nothing to worry about.
Well, with you to support the voyage, it can only make our chances of success that much better.
Oh, okay. In what capacity would I be joining the crew here?
Well, it's officially his boat, but I think you could put yourself into a position where you could be influential in your assistance. Because I have an idea for another spend to kind of proxy through this.
Okay, so what's the other spend? Man,
I have a rank in the Mercantile Guild with the Spider of Sag Harbor. And I would almost like to create a letter that has my mark to call in a favor from the Spider. Okay. Write up a letter, give it to this man. You know the things that we'll really need. I don't know that well, but you'll know it in a snap. And he's somebody who can actually get things put together. So I would like to give you my voucher, so to speak. And I put my faith in you to gather together whatever we need. And if you show up with the shit that we need, this fancy captain will have no reason to argue against your presence.
Yeah,
and we will be all the better for it.
Are you going to clear my participation in the voyage with Captain Solano? Because I do think you owe the captain of a ship that sort of courtesy.
I will arrange it. I feel another spend coming on. But yes.
Don't quite. I spend all you want. I just saying that I don't think a
captain would care too much about a random stranger showing up on his ship without his permission.
Yes, I am going to coordinate that. I assure you, I'm working with Miss Fortuna, my dear and wonderful matriarch. She's coordinating things from one end. I'm coordinating from another end. It's a bit of a tight schedule, so I kind of have to, lots of ins, lots of outs, lots of moving pieces, but it will be coordinated, I assure you. And who could doubt the value of a man such as yourself?
Yeah, I see. And I'm expecting I will be compensated accordingly.
Oh, yes. Of course.
Okay. And Randy's like, yeah, you don't got to worry about nothing. This, Chauncey, man, they got all the money. They got more money than Denari. Well, if you say so. All right, well, I'll see about putting together some provisions.
Okay.
And so you go through some details about where you might be going, and you have a guide. You have a swamp guide, basically.
Excellent. So a swamp guy who knows the place and knows what supplies to request, and then using another favor to call in those supplies.
And many crocodiles, alligators that are quite dangerous. Snakes, insects, all manner of beasts out there. Let alone that, that's just, normal critters. Then you add in the Chugot. Goodness
The frog
gracious.
people.
Yes. Yeah, they're quite vicious when they come in their large numbers.
Yeah. Well, I've avoided being killed by them once. I will hope to do so again.
Well, hey, the fact that you saw them once and you lived to tell a tale, everything's looking up. You must be one lucky fella.
It's been said. It's true.
Excellent. Well,
all right.
I will see you on the deck of the Indomitor then.
Okay. I'm just trying to find any angle I can spend to help the...
That's fine.
And then
got
outside
your
of that...
swamp guide.
Yeah. And that was kind of like an ad hoc idea I had. But his initial, the thing he really wants to do for his own personal feeling, that he actually does legitimately want to do a church bend, talk with somebody he feels he can trust. Like whether it's maybe Philippe's uncle or somebody like that.
Okay. Okay. So are you looking to bring a priest of Denari on the voyage with you? Is that what you're doing?
Well, either that or see if they're willing to basically just go to somebody that's in Philippe's family who is a member of the church. So it's kind of like that person you can trust. Look, I don't fully understand what's going on. There's a big family to do. We're going up to the swamps, and let's be honest, you know my family, and I'm trying to do what I can do, but they're my family, but I'm just really scared. And if there's anything that you can, any wisdom, any knowledge, even just a token of good luck, or just a prayer, I don't know, but anything that you could propose, I would gladly take.
Okay. We will say that after the death of Father Mikali, who you all had a hand in, his death, and by hand in, I mean you killed him. He was succeeded by a sister Paqueta, who now runs the local church in Giglio Hill, and through your connections, you have a sit down with her, and she will look up at you, somewhat perplexed. I would say you probably would know her because you have attended church, right?
Yeah.
And she will say, "What is it that seems to be troubling you, Mr. Chauncey Mainwarden? You seem quite worried."
So I'm been called on family business to go on a journey up into the swamps, and I
see.
I am a loyal family man, of course, but also sometimes large family events with my family make me feel very nervous.
I see. I understand this. Your family has a bit of a reputation. I think everyone knows that.
And perhaps it is foolish, but I wonder if there's any sort of blessing you might share, or is there
a blessing?
My cousin Solvita joked about bringing some rosary beads. I don't know.
Are you concerned that something will? This is going to be a dangerous trip of yours. Why are you going on it then? If you are so concerned, you could just stay here with your lovely wife. Valentina is quite lovely, and your children. I would like to see more of them, of course, but they are your children.
I'm trying. I really am.
Yes.
Once a month
I see.
feels like such a battle with them.
Chauncey, can I be honest and direct with you?
Yes.
Devotion in faith is not a part-time endeavor. It is something that you either commit to or you do not. I have seen that you have a desire to become perhaps a follower, a true follower of Denari, but you seem to be reticent to make a commitment. Your wife does not seem to share the same reluctance as you. What is it that prevents you from fully embracing the goddess?
Well, it's more of the worry of the harm that I bring with me by proxy.
Chauncey, dear Chauncey, you are very kind. But I mean this, no disrespect. And because I said it at the beginning of the sentence, you know that you cannot take it as being disrespectful. It is fairly narcissistic to assume that someone such as yourself, what you bring into the temples of Denari, could have any serious effect on the goddess.
Well, that is true. What I mean to say is, committing, yes, I'm all for committing. In fact, that's why I want to go, because I want to make sure that there's somebody who is willing to just say no when they need to say no. But at the same time, I remember what happened at our estate the last time something...
Oh.
And
dear Macaulay. She does like a little motion.
So I would never want to invite somebody to join us because I don't want to put that upon anybody. I would rather take the responsibility upon myself, if that makes sense. And
Chauncey, you want my blessing. Is that what it is? You want my blessing, yes. And you think this will protect you as you depart?
Is that stupid?
No.
Maybe.
Of course not. Chauncey, please, kneel. She comes over and she places her hand on your head. And she says, Chauncey Mainwollen and all of the Mainwollens, the goddess will protect you. Denari will look over you. And she will ensure that you and your family will have a very safe journey, and you will return in a fortnight or two, and you will find great happiness here. And I will see you for services. Not once a month, once a week.
Well, me, the children, I will work on it.
Ow! Oh.
Yes, of course, the children too.
She pulls her hand back and she kind of expects her palm a little bit. Oh. Very peculiar. Now, do you feel better?
Yes.
Excellent. Oof. Sarah, you might have a bit of an insect problem in your hair there. Something bit me, it seems. No matter. So, bon voyage, as they say in the some other place, not here. And I will see you when you return. Yes?
Of course.
Of course.
I've been entirely too silly, and I'm sorry to have wasted your time.
Oh, so no waste at all. Oh, that's fine. Good day to you. And you back out of there with her flexing her hand and kind of kissing her palm a little bit, trying to ease whatever it is that seemed to have caused her.
You have killed that woman.
And I hope not.
You guys will never know.
Yeah, I know it's what he would do. And now to go talk with Fortuna to see if we can smooth things over with the captain about bringing on Relis.
You made the points. Spends. You guys won't have any issue. Okay. Last call for anything else. Okay. Then we will say that I will say maybe there was a lot more on that list than I inspected. So we'll say a whole other day passes. So if any of you want to make 2 more health and 2 more morale from your basic recovery, you absolutely can do that.
Ooh, yes, please.
Okay.
And morale might get close to full.
Okay. And we see you all on a series of skiffs. And these skiffs are moving out over the water away from the harbor, the various docks of Eversink. And you can see they're taking you out to a larger ship out on the water. Not as large as the last college, of course. It is kind of a caravel kind of ship. And we can see this, like you all are kind of getting kind of pulled up. Ladder goes down. Chauncey, when you get on, you can see that there is Relis Cade already seeming to mix well with some of the crew. And all of you are greeted by Captain Solano. And he is an older man. He's probably in his 60s or so, gray beard, very lean. You can see he's decently well dressed, but he's sunburnt like crazy. But he kind of greets you all, and he says, "Welcome to the Indomitor. While you are here, you're under our protection. If there is anything that we can do to make your stay here at all more comfortable, please let us know. This over here," and he kind of introduces like a few of his officers. This is Mr. Clint. This is Maro. He is a cook and quartermaster. If there is a particular dietary need you have, Mr. Clint can take care of you. If any of you become sick during the journey, which is not uncommon for people who are traveling on the water, especially up the Serpentine, which can be quite rough. Speak with Dr. Jesh over here. Tarna, my sweet. And you can see this woman comes up with this she's got like this braided hair, and she kind of greets you all. And she is the surgeon on the ship. And then kind of goes around and sort of introduces you to a few other people here and there. But essentially shows you to where you'll be staying. It is not the greatest of quarters, obviously, but he has given up his own to allow you all, like half of you basically, we'll probably say Fortuna and Solavita to have like his cabin. And then there'll be like an officer cabin, like maybe like Tarnajesh kind of gives up so that the guys can have something to stay in as well. And so you guys are on this ship. And if there are no other beats that you all wanted to do, is when you first get on, we'll say the ship begins its departure. We see it. The last thing we see as you're leaving the harbor is we see that the large, almost warship-looking vessel of the last college. Vincent, you can see like standing on the deck is Ludovica, and you can see like all of the other like sorcerers are over there, just kind of watching you. Like 1 or 2 of them raise their hand, Vincent, as they seem to know they can see you perhaps as you're traveling past. Okay, so. Where you guys are headed, let me show you. Did I put the map up? Let me see if I put the world map on here or not. Nope, I guess I didn't. So essentially what you're doing is you're traveling up this Serpentine with her. So you're driving kind of eastward away from Eversink into this sort of swampy area, but like the Serpentine River and all of its deltas begin to start weaving its way northward, and there's various branches and tributaries. And then several miles, or actually several days, I should say, north is like where the destroyed plateau is. And all of you are already familiar with the destroyed plateau being like a place where basically demons and devils are. It is a plateau filled with monsters. At least that's what the stories say. You're not going all the way up to there. You're just essentially looking for the grasping mire in the shadows. Okay. As travel progresses, I think I'm not going to like nickel and dime you guys for like health tests or anything like that for travel. You can hear the sounds of like the water. You can hear the sounds like all these various orders that are being shouted. You can see deckhands are running up, rigging, sails coming up. Others are kind of going down. There's a below deck for actual rows, rowing when that is necessary, and it will be where you're going in some cases. The first day of travel effectively takes you almost to where you all rescued Eliana from. It kind of takes you into that first swampy area, but you travel past it. At night, Fortuna, you can see these hazy bits of blue from time to time, kind of glowing here and there in the distance, but not to the point where it is at all like close to the ship itself. The ship itself continues to travel even after dark for a little while, but eventually kind of docks, or at least like bears anchor. And then in the morning, it picks up once more. The second day of travel, rain is coming down. There's a great deal of trouble you can see, and they kind of recommend that you all stay indoors. I need everyone though to make a morale test at some point here.
All right.
Very glad that I got some morale back. So I'm starting at 8 of 10. So I've got a little bit to spend.
There you go. Gonna live forever.
Of course.
Okay. And remember that you are always welcome to optionally reduce morale before making your check. All right. Changing some things up. Okay. Chauncey, how'd you
Spend
do?
1.
8.
Okay, you're spending. 8 will be a pass. Fortuna, how did you do?
I failed, unfortunately. I only spent 1 and I only rolled a 2. So I only got a 3.
Definitely a fail. Arkadiy, how did you do? Sorry, I didn't hear that, Aaron. You might be muted.
I said I got a 7. I spent 2 points of morale and got a 7.
Okay. Both Chauncey and Arkadiy have passed. Fortuna has failed. How did Vincent end up doing?
5 myself.
A 5. Okay. And Solavita.
I spent 2 luckily, so I got a 5. I'm hoping it's not a 6 that we need.
Okay. While you all have been indoors and the rain has been pattering, has been slamming the decks here and there, and like you can feel the ship has definitely been moving. You can hear the muted sounds of like orders that are being shouted. At a certain point, you can hear the sound, like you can hear the voices begin to sort of die off, and like no longer are the orders being shouted, like secure this line or like look out, starboard or look out port, that kind of thing. Like you're no longer hearing those orders. And Fortuna, Vincent, and Solavita, you find yourselves hearing a different voice. And it starts almost like a whisper in the room, like it's almost as if like someone on the other side of the room is saying something to you, and you didn't quite pick up on it. When you look over in the corner, you realize they're not there. But you hear voices, and the voices that each of the three of you hear aren't necessarily the same voice. Fortuna, if there is a figure from your past that you feel some kind of like guilt towards something you've done towards them, or remorse, like something that you have, like something you have done to a person that you feel guilty about, who would that be, do you think?
So I would say that when Fortuna was a young adult, I would say that she had a suitor, who was a very lovely individual. There was nothing wrong with this person. But she, as she is contemptuous and mean, and she prioritized her family. And so it was sort of this like very lovely man who would have made a lovely husband, but she just didn't immediately let him know what her priorities were. So I think she sort of feels bad about like the attention felt good for a little while. And then she just sort of got mean until he kind of left. So there's sort of all of those feelings in there.
It is like, maybe, I'm not sure if you're reading, I'm not sure if you're like looking at maps or whatever it might be, but you suddenly hear your suitor's voice. You hear like this, it's again, and you're not sure exactly where you're hearing it come from at first, but you hear, "Oh, Fortuna, Fortuna, what have you done? What have you done? You have ruined me. And for what? For what? For your family, for your desire for power, you have ruined me." And you hear like it suddenly begins to crystallize. And you look around the room, and we'll say all of you are there, just kind of sitting around a table. Maybe it's lunchtime, or you're sharing a drink. And you look around, and no one is talking. Like, you don't see Vincent. It's a man's voice. You don't see Vincent talking. You don't see Arkadiy. You don't see Chauncey. You hear this voice though. Before you react, Vincent and Solovita, you get the same question. So I'm going to start with you, Vincent. Who is somebody, because unfortunately 5s weren't good enough. Vincent, who is somebody from your past? Could be somebody we know, somebody we don't know, it doesn't matter. Who is somebody that you think you would feel some kind of guilt or remorse, like you did something or didn't do something that to this day you feel kind of bad about? Who do you think that be?
We'll give it to, say, a teacher at a nearby school.
Okay.
Asked me to come and maybe give a lesson or two, and I just brushed them off over and over. Really just ignored them.
Okay. So you hear, as you're sitting there, and like you guys are all almost getting lulled into this sense of sleep from the rain that's hitting the sides and the deck above you. You hear Vincent Guy, the important one. So important he is. Selfish too. Takes all of the knowledge for himself. All of his tutors and teachers who gave freely of training and experience and knowledge, and Vincent Guy unable to give to the next generation. These poor young fools dabbling in powers that will corrupt them, that will change them. If you listen hard enough, Vincent Guy, you can hear them weeping as whatever of the minor gods and pacts that they have reached out to have ripped away any bit of themselves. And to think they might have done so with greater safety if only Vincent Guy could think of someone other than himself. And this slowly gets louder until it becomes conversational level volume, Vincent. You look around, it's a male voice. You said Chauncey's next to you, or Katie's in the room. Both of them are not talking to you very clearly before you react. And then Solovita, who is it that you, same question. Who do you think Solovita would hear?
She feels, this will be a familiar character, she feels guilty about having left Etta at the beginning of the last arc with the house, where Etta got hurt, and then she had to use the mind wash on her to try to lie to her. She feels like she probably should have kept Etta with her.
Okay. So you hear the familiar voice of Etta. And remember that Etta's voice is like she's slowly been working out her Kemian accent, which is like, I've been playing it kind of, what was I doing? As like think I was doing sort of like a really cheesy Nordic kind of accent, and she's been slowly working it out. But you hear the very familiar sounds, and there's no one on the ship that you've met that seems to be of that lineage. And so she says, "Solavita, I'm scared. I'm scared. What was it? Oh goodness! The nightmares. Oh, I can. Why am I dreaming of this? What has happened? Oh, every night I go to bed and I see things. They're like experiences. Like I was there, so real. But I can't remember them. I think I'm going mad. And you can see like it gets increasingly erratic as it sounds like she's babbling like a patient in an asylum. The voice, what? No, they tell me I didn't see it, but I did. I was there. I saw it. But why are they saying that I didn't see it? And you can tell that she's just sort of panicking. And it's a woman's voice, and you look up and you recognize it too. You know it's Etta. And Etta is not here with you. And the only woman in the room is Solavita, and she isn't speaking. And the three of you now.
I am Solavita, so that was.
I'm sorry, Fortuna. And you look around and you realize like you are hearing these voices, the three of you. So how would each of you be responding to that?
I go to sleep, Etta. It was just a bad dream. She kind of says to the air, looking up and around a little bit, like she's not sure where this is coming from, is going to try to talk to it as if it were, even though it might be a madness herself. So everybody would hear that.
All of you would hear her, Solavita, like out of the blue, just suddenly talking to Etta.
Fortuna doesn't react to that because she's just sort of looking around and she's like, Rhineburn? I haven't heard that voice in so long.
And he's just like, I'm surprised you remember my name. I'm so surprised. Oh, it looks as though you're having a little family get together. Oh, how wonderful for you. Cherish those moments, Fortuna. Cherish them. And you can tell like there's like venom in what he's saying. He's not saying this like kindly. Do you say the Rheinberg stuff out loud?
Yeah, I would say she does.
So everyone hears that. What about you, Vincent? How are you reacting to hearing?
I'm also muttering to myself since I'm used to hearing voices in my head. So I'm talking to them.
Okay.
Like, making up excuses, pretty much.
So Arkadiy and Chauncey suddenly, within seconds of each other, Fortuna, Solavita, and Vincent are effectively talking to themselves, calling out names.
Arkadiy looks over at Chauncey. He's like, I question why every moment of every day, why I came back. And still, I have no good answer.
You know, it's just, I haven't. I actually had something I was going to work on. I'm going to share with them. You know, Fortuna, I'm sorry to bore you with my tedious nonsense. Do you know what I was just working on? But Solavita, Vincent, I was just thinking that given the nature of this, I would write some letters. And I'm terrible at writing letters, but I thought maybe I would think of some people that were dear to me. And I write like,
Chauncey, for once in your life, could you hush your speaking? I'm hearing a voice that I would like to speak with.
Do you not hear them? Is it not a spirit of some kind that we're hearing? Is it magic that we're being afflicted with?
I would propose let's take some pen and paper. Let's maybe write down some reasons about why we'd like to hear from these voices. Things that we liked about the voices and things that we'd like to do with them. And Chauncey is legitimately just trying to propose like 10 things you liked about this person, 10 things you'd like to do with this person, just to give them some sort of exercise to get their brain to focus on that, versus Chauncey doesn't understand sorcery, but he understands distraction.
If it'll get you to stop running your incessant mouth, I'll take the paper.
Yes, I'm an asshole, I know.
There's the Fortuna I remember. Cruel, vicious, only kind to those that she has use for, and once she's used them up, she throws them away. And the voice is even louder now, closer, and it's like it almost sounds like it's coming from where Chauncey is sitting. Fortuna. And when you look over, you can see there's like this black shade behind him that suddenly flickers. And you see standing behind Chauncey and placing a hand on Chauncey's shoulder. Not that, Chauncey, you feel this. There is Rhineburn. As you remember him.
Was this Rhineburn important to you?
Not important enough.
What's your favorite thing about him?
Well, as you can see, if you were to stop talking and look over your left shoulder, he's quite handsome. Hasn't aged a day.
Yes, lovely. What a handsome man.
You look behind you, there's nothing there, yeah.
I know.
You are all mad. Arkadiy just kind of leans back and closes his eyes because he doesn't want
necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know if this is madness or affliction of some kind, or magic, or spirits themselves. There's a number of things. Can I use Liar's Tell or Leechcraft or something? Because she's trying to, she knows that Edna is with Luigi and Mario. She's...
Okay. So what are you trying... So and you're not wrong. That's information that you freely know. So what new information are you perhaps looking to acquire?
I'm trying... She's doing the thing that never works for doctors, where they're trying to diagnose themselves. Self-medication, if you will.
Okay. I would say no spend necessary. Your Leechcraft, while it's true you've been under some stress lately, especially in the last, and you didn't sleep. You and Fortuna, I keep doing that. You and Fortuna stayed up very late 2 nights ago, but you also had another. Yes, I keep forgetting.
Just joking.
You managed, you did manage to kind of catch up. So it's certainly possible, that you could be, but unlikely. You don't think so. You think you're in good health. You've been in far more stressful situations and your mind hasn't broken. So yeah, there's no reason to think that there's something ailing you.
Vincent, can you check if it's magical a little bit better than me? I hear Etta.
As you turn over to say something to Vincent, you see right in between the two of you, there's Etta's face, and she just screams as loud as she can, and you're the only one who hears it, and your ear, right in your ear, just shakes.
It was better for you to forget.
Vincent, what are you doing?
I'm going to speak with a voice in my head until he comes to an agreement, and he goes away.
Okay, you're going to negotiate with him?
Negotiate voice.
Very sporty.
Okay.
Who can out crazy who? Here we go.
All right. What do you say?
Family matters. I'll be there as soon as I can.
You're not coming back. Don't be foolish. You're on a fool's errand, which is perfect, since you're a fool. Vincent Guy. And you can see, Arkadiy has leaned back, and he is almost trying to go to sleep, because his eyes are kind of closed and everything. And you can see suddenly behind him and moving around him to the point where he's standing next to Arkadiy's outstretched legs that are maybe propped up on another chair. You can see a flickering shadow, and then suddenly manifests into your professor, your teacher connection, who is standing there in front of you, and staring down at you, down their kind of long hooked nose, and you can tell there's a look on their face of intense disappointment. and looking down at like Arkadiy and then up at you. Not the first time I've seen people fall asleep in your presence. Maybe it's good you didn't come. It's not like you have anything useful to share.
If I don't have anything useful, then why come to me?
Why did you call for me then?
It's simply something to tell you.
So as this is going on, let me ask you all, like, I know Solovita's already tapped into some abilities. Anyone else tapping into abilities? And I should also mention Fortuna. I'm sorry. You take 3 points of morale damage.
Oh, dear.
Vincent, you take 3 points of morale damage. And Solovita, you take 4 points of morale damage. None of it is blocked by grit. It has.
Oh, dear.
Dropping to 0 that you're fine, or
dropping to 0 is okay. It's when you go negative in swords. It's slightly different, I think, in this and Time Watch. Let me double check. So I kind of get them confused now because I'm running both games. When you go to -1, it's bad.
I have an idea for
I am at 0.
Spend if you require it.
What you think?
Command, maybe? Listen, I
to
understand. Do we get... Oh, it's going to be on one person. I think at this point I've been speaking with Fortuna specifically, especially because I know she has some, like, especially stronger link to Borda than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look, I can't say that I understand what you're seeing or why it's important to you, but I'd like to share that some people often make the assumption that hate, anger is the opposite of love or joy, but no, that's apathy. No, it's the things that are important to you that hurt you the most. And the hardest thing you can do is to admit that you have hurt something that you care about. But until you admit it, until you're willing to look inwards, you can't grow outwards. Okay? So whatever you're hearing, own it. Just embrace it, own it, and think about what you wish you could have done differently. You can't change what's already happened, but you can reflect on it and try to be more.
Fortuna just gets a very distasteful look on her face because this was decades ago and like water under the bridge and whatnot. And I have no feelings about this matter. It's long since done and holds no power over me.
If you're hearing his voice, it absolutely has power, and that's okay. That's totally normal. I can't tell you how many times I told stories to myself that my mommy was going to show up at the orphanage and she was going to pick me up, and I had this voice in my head of what she would sound like. I still hear that voice sometimes. I'm old as shit, and I still remember that.
Oi, we're the same age.
And if you're old as shit, what is Fortuna? And so Fortuna's just sort of like, kind of like hits her cane on the ground a bit in frustration. This yearning is beneath me. This is decades ago.
No, you are human. You have a heart. You're a lovely woman. I don't give a shit what kind of sneer you give at me. I think you have a beautiful heart, and I love you, and I think you are full of love in your own way, and you, through your own sense of responsibility, have made yourself hurt, and you need to admit that hurt.
One of Arkadiy's eyes opens at all of this, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He doesn't say anything. He just goes, "Oh."
Stupid. But like in my mind, Chauncey's absolutely the equivalent of a hobbit who is trying very hard to tell you, don't fall into this bullshit.
Fortuna, you like tap your cane, and as on the last tap, you all hear like a heavy thud from above you, like the deck above you. Like just as if something crashed on the deck above where the cabin that you're sitting within right now. And again, you guys have stopped really hearing the sounds of the crew shouting orders and communication to each other. It's gotten very like oddly quiet. There's rain for sure, but like even still, it's been raining most of the day, and you were still able to hear some of it. So that is the first thing. Like it almost like shocks as you slam your cane, and it just times it perfectly.
Yes, cousin Chauncey, and she'll look kind of through Chauncey a bit. Oh, my dear, somehow still young, Rhineburn. I should have told you immediately that you had no chance, that my heart was always with my family and was not mine to give. But you deserved better. You deserved honesty. And the years you wasted, for that I regret.
So you see the figure that is Rhine. Is it Rhineberg or Rhineburn?
Rhineburn.
Rhineburn. Okay.
Thank you to Kipser's name generator that I just keep going back to.
Nice.
Rhineburn like leans down and like he's right at Chauncey's ear, and you just see him like blow a little breath, and Chauncey, you feel like almost like an insect just suddenly went into your ear canal. And then he turns to Fortuna and he says, "You're an old, sagging hag who will die alone without anyone to care for her." And then you hear right outside the door of your cabin as another thing has crashed. It sounds like right outside the door.
Arkadiy, wake!
Yes, I'm awake.
Do you not hear the thumping outside?
Does Arkadiy hear the thumping outside?
Yes, absolutely. All of you hear it.
So he'll jump up. He goes, yes. He turns up the collar on his greatcoat, and he pulls a blade out just in case, his new blade, the Vulpine blade, and opens the door. You go to push the door open, and it's like you have to push it a little harder because there's something on the other side. And as you push it around, you can see on the ground, on the deck in front of you, where the door is, there is the body of one of the deckhands, one of the people working. No one you recognize, maybe just a face, and it's bloody. You can see like something's like definitely like an arm might be broke, or a collarbone looks to be fractured. They seem to have fallen from a decent height, and you look up and you can see like there's nobody up top. When you look around, you can see like groups of people like on right near the railing of both the starboard and the port side, and you can see one of them just mother and just falls completely off the ship, and you hear splash. Dear cousin Chauncey, if you could assist me on the deck. Apparently the crew is all committing suicide.
Muted Jeremy.
I couldn't tell really if he was muted or not. If he was trying to talk.
Muted. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's a lot. And yes, I was muted. Okay, I admit I was muted, but I didn't.
Oh, you did. I didn't even notice you were muted. Honestly.
Come. The others are busy talking with ghosts. We must try to keep some of our crew alive. Unless you know how to sail.
Oh my. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Chauncey, if you step out with him, you look over his shoulder and you can see there's a handful of people along each of the railings, and like one or two of them you watch like just step off. They're just, they call out. One of them calls out to their mother. One of them calls out to like a brother, or just a name or two that you do not know, like whoever it is that they see, much like Fortuna's Rheinberg, you wouldn't know that name. And they just fall into the water. And they don't even scream. They just fall into the water. You see others that are kind of huddled in corners, and they're just kind of rocking. They're like, no, you're not here. You're not here. I know you're not here. You died. And you can tell that they're clearly hearing something, not unlike your relatives inside the cabin.
Okay. Was the thing with Fortuna a spend or just a
that would not have gotten an effect of any kind, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm afraid to say. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that he will, despite the fact Arkadiy was just making fun of him for doing it earlier, Chauncey will do his best to continue that same general, like, listen, we are simply on the ship of the Indomitus. Your feelings are completely valid. You have gone through so much, and yet you're here, and there are people with you that care about you. I care about you. You're fine. You are on the deck of the Indomitus. You're here with me. You are fine. You are worthy, and I love you. You're on the just like doing his best.
Almost like a play to the crowd kind of a thing. Like
Chauncey, roll a sway test.
Like
he legitimately
honestly,
will try to do it.
You can absolutely roll a sway test.
Great for Chauncey.
nice.
Oh,
Yep.
God. Okay. So let me get that set up, and then I'm going to spend a few on this.
Okay. Oh, good roll there.
Hey.
About a 10.
Nice.
Okay, that is enough to get 2 iterations of play to the crowd. So you have the potential to have this affect 3 people, if you like.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll say, maybe just to make it easy, we'll say one of them you see like huddling on the ground, and it's like, you're not here, you've been dead. What? And then they suddenly hear you talking, and Relis Cade, the guy you hired to be your guide, looks up at you as you speak this. He's like, I knew she wasn't real. I knew she wasn't real. And then off to the side, you can see like the leech, the surgeon. You can see Tanesh. She's like, what was that? What was that? What? And you can see she's panicked, but has broken whatever kind of weird spell she was under, and then one of the deckhands as well. And so you have like 3 people who, one of them, you can see like the surgeon was literally standing at the deck of at the rail, getting ready to step over, and you brought her back.
Just let me give you my hand there, okay?
I saw my husband. How he was calling me. And she's like looking, she grabs your hand and you pull her, but she's still looking back, like over the starboard side of the ship, like out into like, and you guys are getting drenched by rain, I should say. And she's looking and trying to sort of pierce through the rain. I saw him on the shore. He was calling to me.
Indeed, it's a dreadful thing. I'll be honest. I've pored over the voice of my own wife's several times.
Oh no, you don't understand. My husband died 10 years ago.
Well, I would love to hear more about him. Let's talk about it over there. Away from the edge.
I saw my brother. He was just a boy, and he was talking to me. He had the pox, water lung, and he was 10. He said it was my fault. I didn't fish him out of the canals. I didn't know how to swim though. I was 6. And he's like looking around, kind of bewildered, and like you get a similar story from like the deckhand, who like references like somebody as well, like a family member or a friend, and you see this kind of happening. But all the while, like you suddenly hear a thump, and someone like just like looks like they're reaching out over one of the decks, and they kind of just fall maybe 10 feet down and smash onto the deck itself. It doesn't look like they're dead, but you can see they land with a thud and like break something as well. Back in the cabin, Fortuna, Vincent, Solavita, the voices you're hearing are continuing to get more and more nasty, right? Like they're becoming insulting in some way. Solavita, like Etta, she's just like in your face and in your ear screaming as loud as she can. It's like you can't even concentrate because of how much she is screaming. What's everybody doing?
Enough. Your insults are boring me. Where are you hiding? And I'm going to spirit sight to get a sense of if there's any insubstantial monstrosities about.
You look around and you have always seen the professor, but now you see where Solavita is there is Etta, like a deranged looking at her. Her hair kind of patchy as if she's pulled pieces of it out. It looks like she's wearing some kind of swaddling like vest like they give to people in the asylums. And she's just screaming at the top of her lungs. And so you suddenly hear it. Then you can see there's a man, fairly attractive younger man, late teens or so, who is looking at Fortuna and just calling her all sorts of horrific insult, old, haggard. Like it's not just her looks, but her mind, her attitude, like every potential harmful thing. He's screaming at her right now. That is what you see.
And if I'm able to see them, I'm going to send my chain at them. Silence with you.
Okay. Give us a roll. Give me a sorcery test.
Save us, Vincent. Save us.
Sorcery, I'll spend 2 here.
All right. Oh, it's
a max roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is 1 over. So if do you have blast? You have.
I do have 8. Blast.
Okay,
I'll
so
blast.
you can get 2. Which 2 do you want?
I'll do the one on Fortuna and Solovita. So the Edda and.
Okay, so yours remains. So Fortuna, as you're staring and you're looking and you're just being berated, you just watch as this spectral chain just wraps around Reinburn and just squeezes until his face turns black and his whole body turns this like it doesn't even look like a person anymore. It just looks like a shadow, and you see these 2 small beady red eyes appear where his face used to be. See you soon. And then whoosh, he disappears. So Levita, like you're getting screamed, like at the top of her lungs, screaming in your ear. And then suddenly she's gone. You don't hear anything. And you hear the sounds of like maybe Fortuna's like last words from her bow. And you hear Vincent, but the screaming suddenly stops and you look up and Edda's not there anymore.
And I don't see Vincent's guy either still, right?
No, because I don't think you have spirit sight.
No.
Right? Okay. Yeah, so no, you don't. You do hear the sounds of like Arkadiy and Chauncey, like muffled sounds of them kind of looking around and talking, the sounds of a thump here or a thump there, the sound of like Relis Cade's voice as he's just like, he's my brother, and then like the doc is just like my husband, and then like there's conversations going on around you. Is there anything
Vincent,
you're doing?
Thank you, Vincent. So Levita, are you feeling better?
Well, yes. I guess if you figured it out, Vincent, it was probably spirits. Are they still here? Are they gone?
Some sort of lesser demon. The crew's affected.
Oh shit!
Are they all gone now?
As you're saying that and you're explaining to her like what it is, your professor is like, wrong again. It's a good thing we didn't bring you in to talk. You would have just given them poor information. You stupid boy.
Hand to my temple. Help the others. I'll deal with this.
So what do you do, Vincent? That was your action. So is there anything else you do? Like, do you get up? Do you move? Do you stay inside? What do you think?
I would just move with Solovita and Fortuna, wherever they're going.
Okay. So Fortuna, Solovita, where are you going?
Outside, but can
Agreed.
I kind of tell, like, I can't see it,
Yeah.
but if I think she would still try to, like, essentially sorcery magic the area that Vincent is reacting to and see if she can't hit something. I know it's unlikely, but she would try.
Sure, you can certainly try. Give me a sorcery test.
She kind of like warps the world around next to Vincent where he's wincing from to try to like change the structure of the molecules. And she'll spend 7. It is an HP. It's not moral. So I know it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really.
You definitely, it affects it. So like you see a like one of the chairs, maybe that's now vacated, that Arkadiy was in, suddenly cracks and twists, and you can tell like it's working. But Vincent, when you look up, you can see this figure, which is now, you realize, Vincent, is just kind of hovering there, no legs, like just these kind of blackish, shadowy, tapering off into nothing. It's just kind of hovering there. And when it called you a stupid, stupid boy, its eyes flared red. But the face is still the professor that you remember, but is like looking down at the chair.
Stupidity runs in the family, Vincent guy.
Did I get it? Did it work, Vincent?
No, stupid. No, not you.
What?
Sorry.
Hey,
I love it.
That's great. That's great.
okay, let's go
Okay.
outside.
So, Fortuna, Solvita, you start getting up. Vincent, you said you're following them. The whole time, you hear behind you, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. And Vincent, as you step out and you look with your spirit sight still triggered, you can see Chauncey and Arkadiy like helping people up or talking to this person or that person. You can see all around the ship, there are these floating kind of black masses with these big bright red eyes, some of which, like, you can see they're flickering in between almost some kind of human form, like they almost look like a person. And they're all like hovering over top of a victim. One or two of them are like right out in front of the railing, just floating in the air as the ship sails past, and is just like calling out, like, "Come to me, darling. Come to me, embrace me." And you see a deckhand just like, "I'm coming for you," and just falls right off the railing into the water. And there's at least 20 of them on the ship. But I think we're going to go ahead and stop there, and we'll pick up on that next week. And we'll see if Vincent and can figure out a way to save the ship.
Holy moly.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Oh,
Oh.
dear.
Oh,
Chauncey, it worked. You managed to snap 3 people out of it. So it's not even, you don't even have to have sorcery skills necessarily, but definitely
No,
something.
it's definitely sway. And
Yeah,
moral.
just
Yeah.
Chauncey and Fortuna just trying to do the play to the crowd stuff.
Mhm.
Anyone can do sway tests, even if you don't have sway. Don't forget, you're always able to do it. It's just a little bit of a penalty, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. And doesn't mean there's other things you can potentially do as well. Just gotta come up
Yeah, I'm
with
going to
something.
drop the anchor as soon as I can, let me tell you.
Okay.
Knock him out.
Cool. That's a great way to do it. Just knock people out. They can't suddenly they can't jump off the ship if they're unconscious.
I want to
They
go.
can't hear it if th're dead.
Yeah.
If you stick a knife in their ear,
Probably not going
you
knife
can't
in
hear
here.
it.
No, if Alakir was here, it would definitely be a knife in the ear. I'd be like,
Oh, poor dear. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right.
Oh.
We will pick up. We are on the river. We are closing in on the end. Just a couple sessions left, I think, and we'll see if anyone makes it. It was nice, though. I like a couple little bits of closure. We got to see a couple characters and such before we left. Got to see Helene again. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
I said in chat earlier, like, can
more
you
Randy.
tell that we think we might not make it back?
Yeah. Fine. Everything's fine.
I was surprised you didn't invite Randy to come along. Get your back.
No,
You would have thrown some elbows, man.
That's the last thing that Chauncey would
I'm
do
gonna
at this
elbow.
point.
I'll put Borda in a headlock. Give her a little noogie. Everything will be fine.
He would think that he could do that.
I know he would.
Done it
and
before.
That's why I didn't invite him.
Put the people's elbow on a snake. Oh, you weren't there though. Me and Arkadiy took it down. It's fine.
Also, by the way, thank you to our raiders. We had Architects of Fate and Blue Cottage D&D.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for those raids. Sorry for not calling it on stream. Was in character. But thank you so much. Hopefully, our folks, if you haven't checked them out, make sure you go check out their channels. I know we raid sometimes over there as well. And so you can see what cool things they're doing. Let's go ahead and do a couple closing plugs, and then we will carry this raids thing forward, and we'll find someone else to raid. I'm going to toss it to Aaron first. Aaron, what's going on over on Garblag Games?
So you can definitely check out the Garblag Games YouTube channel over this weekend. There'll be another episode of Star Trek 2nd Edition Lower Decks dropping as Richard continues the fun with his crew on their California-class starship. And then next Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be returning for some more Metro Otherscape in New Casablanca, where you can join my AR gamer, Johnny Geist, and all of his followers on the Ghost Train as we continue to fight a necromancer who likes to dress in bad 80s fashion.
See, I object to that. There's no such thing as bad 80s fashion. By default, all 80s fashion is phenomenal. Right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I had a pair of Guess jeans that had that leather, like, cod piece in the front. And looking back at that, I think to myself, that was not a good thing to wear.
No, that's pretty bad.
My high school girlfriend bought those for me, and I should have known at that point that this is not the right relationship to be in. But I did not.
That
I
is
was
a bad sign.
And I never got any smarter.
Yep. Hey, most 80s fashion.
Most.
I was
a quarter of the 80s fashion is really good.
Like fluorescent colored bicycle shorts was what I was thinking with 80s.
Yeah, right on. Okay, let's do a couple other things. Let's talk about Huckleberry, huckleberryrpg.com. Our dear friend Steven has been making this wonderful game. It is a cinematic action horror Western. You can check it out online. You can hop onto our Discord and ask him questions. You can find it. You can find a quick draw edition on DriveThruRPG if you want to try playing it right now. And the backer kit for it's going to come later this year to get a nice big shiny version of it. So definitely check that out. In terms of streaming, we're off the next 2 days. Normally we stream on Fridays and Saturdays, but we're actually off this weekend. So we won't actually be back until Monday, where you can see us playing some Time Watch, which is another Gumshoe system. And on Tuesday, Solavita hops into the GM seat and runs us through Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the role-playing game.
Yes, it's definitely me who runs it.
It kind of just runs itself. Just, totally. And yeah, so like we're in orifices, and we were in 87, and now we're going to 97. Isn't that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll be back next Thursday with more stories of the Serpentine. You should also check out the YouTube channel where you can see Aaron's Dragonbane game that he's been running for a couple months now, and we're nearing the end of that. You can see other games. What else do we play? We can see Eternal Lies, our Call of Cthulhu campaign, and you can see our Magnus Archives game as well. So lots of cool things over there. Let us go ahead and do a little quick raid here. We're going to rate Eclipse 613. Looks like they're playing, can't tell what they're playing. Blood and Cinders, maybe? What it's called, I'm not sure. So let's give that a raid. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out. See y'all later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Arrivederci.